Hey everyone, before we dive right into the action, I wanted to let you know that I stream these things on Twitch, and if you wanna hang out with me while I'm live, you can follow the channel, will be the first link in the description. And we're getting the black pieces and the opponent opening up with e4. We're gonna be trying out the King's Indian defense. Okay, he actually makes a move, so he's ready for the fight. Anyways, plays bishop e3, gonna go c6 with d5 next. Just playing it in the Gurgenidze fashion. So if you guys are like willing, if you're curious how to spell that, I'll attach it on the screen. So it starts with a G if you want to Google it. And okay, but I'm playing with Queen d2. It's like pretty strange. I think you can go d5 anyways. So on Queen d2, just gonna be going with d5 and against e5. Well, I was thinking to do something like perhaps we could break immediately with f6, and I think that's perhaps doable, and like f4, then do knight h6. And the other idea I had was h5 and then develop the knight that way. But after taking, can simply take and get to develop the knight on the natural square next against the check. This is for sure playable, but I think knight c6 is even better. Going for the bishop trade is nevertheless very playable alternative, and yeah, I just think that this is not really helping white, and I would be happy to see it on the board and get ideas to develop the bishop on g4, which is a pretty active square. Not specifically against knight e2 though. Bishop g4 is like a bit pointless now because you could maybe even just play f3. So a typical maneuver now would be to get a knight to f5. So we can either do that with h5 and then play this way via h6, or I could close my bishop and then do this. I don't really like the idea to close the bishop though. I think first of all we can start maybe with a6 and see what I have in mind with that bishop. Or I could go h5 and just do the knight thing. That actually looks more appealing. It's a bit strange though, it's not like super typical, it just feels that this should be a good move because I can get developed quite effectively, and also in case he plays knight g3, this is very useful. We have h4, so I think h5 is definitely one of the best moves in the position, but playing something like a6 was also doable, I think. Or even like simple knight f6 castle, just get yourself developed. Was you're getting a game, but not specifically like the optimal version. Around equal, but maybe, yeah, could get more than that with h5. More interesting play with the knight coming over to f5. Since also white is lacking an immediate break in the center. Like c4 would be the break, but I'm not sure that's actually working that well. Like at the very least we can go dc. So yeah, after knight c3, pretty sure there's no c4 break, and can just follow it up with knight h6. That's why we have played the previous h5 move, so that the bishop can take on h6, but it's not gonna win a piece, and stopping knight g4 with h3, but can play knight f5 and putting pressure on the bishop and on the d4 square. This is very effective, and probably he should have played there, keeping the bishop, but can't really blame him for castling. I think now a6, pretty good move. Like if he takes, opens up the b file for the rook, and if he goes back, can get to push with tempo. Also on bishop d3, I think can try to go knight b4 and win the bishop anyways. So I think we're already having a pretty nice position. Yeah, so pretty happy to see takes, improving the control over the center, and yeah, okay, bishop f4 now, so perhaps could have taken previously. I don't think we need to rush with it though, because the f5 knight is pretty strong. Could actually even maneuver it all the way to c4. Like, notice we can't play rook b8 because the bishop covers it. So from that perspective, maybe a move such as queen a5 can be interesting. Don't like it immediately though. I would think maybe something like bringing knight over is more important, and like knight d6 also. Now introducing ideas to play rook b8 because that square is already covered. So this is interesting, and the only thing that you should avoid is taking twice. You're winning a pawn, but you're opening up lines for your opponent on the king side, which is totally unnecessary. Like, he can't really open it up. You can just take with the rook, so just don't help him, and you can focus on your own play with like knight c4, I would say. Attacking the queen, expecting queen d3, and then perhaps taking would be more interesting. I still don't think we're gonna take. Mainly gonna be playing like queen d3, queen a5, I would guess. And just I have a lot of pieces around his king, like b3 is pretty typical blunder in this position for white, and then you go queen a3, queen b2 mate. So also waiting for g takes on h5 because that will allow bishop f5, which would be really nice. And pretty big threat, by the way. I think it's queen b4, forcing b3, and then we get the checkmate with queen a3, queen b2, and pretty tough spot to be in as white, I think. Yeah, b3, typical blunder, I told you. And then we just get to force the mate. White's position was already pretty difficult. I think we were definitely in control after knight c4, so forcing the resign button and get this one in. Curious about like how the position was after like knight e6. So pretty sure h5 was a good move. Not only move, but decent move. Okay, this weaker engine doesn't really seem to love it. Prefers going knight f6, bishop d7, even e6. I think h5 was interesting. And okay, like him going long castle was a bit suicidal, not gonna lie. That was a bit too much. Just went a6, takes, knight e6, good move. g4, so you could take twice still, but it's so unnecessary. Just go knight c4, focus on your own play. And this is pretty huge threat. Like he takes, maybe don't even play bishop f5, just do this. Kind of winning, no way to defend. So play b3, but then gonna mate in. This was gonna happen on the board, so that's why here's in. We're gonna be going for the next one, and we do get the black pieces, and you know that's gonna be time to play the King's Indian. And let's see what my opponent does. They're going for e3 setup, so against this I could play it like the normal fashion, or I could try to get like an improved dodge. I'll just try to play the normal fashion, honestly, and then I'll try to adapt. Just gonna be castling, although the e3 lines are kind of slower than usual. Just gonna be playing with knight d7 and d5, and after castles can just do this. So after DE, you could definitely take with a knight. I think that's fine and closer to equality, but definitely I prefer this move, keeping more pieces on the board and more chances to outplay my opponent. Plus, I think we have good potential to activate this knight with knight c5 in the future. This is definitely a structure that I played my whole life, and I'm like feeling pretty good going into, but okay, this could be perhaps annoying if they get into bishop a3. So I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to play queen e7, bishop a3, c5, although that's kind of a strange move to make, weakening the d5 square, but sometimes these things do work. The alternative would be rook e8 or e4 perhaps. Maybe e4 is actually like, I think you're supposed to play this and try to argue that we have managed to weaken this diagonal, and perhaps knight e4 b5. I mean knight e4 c5 followed by knight move, and then yeah, like I don't know where this knight goes, assuming it goes to b5. Maybe we have knight e8 and hello rook on a1. Not sure how he's willing to defend it. Probably has to just play knight c2, and if I'm like, okay, knight e2 is better because he's planning to go knight c3. But I have managed to like really activate my position and can easily even go for the endgame because I'm like up so many tempis and I have more space. Thing is, I weaken d5 square, but there's no way for him to take advantage of it, and perhaps even preparing to play knight e3 myself, and even the endgames are definitely very pleasant. After queen takes, rook takes, play like bg4, knight f3. Okay, goes bishop b2. Just gonna try to be annoying. Attacking this, like, okay, offer of queen trade was there. He could have gone for the endgame. If he's not, then I'm not gonna like really force the issue with the endgame. That was doable, but I mean, when I have knight e3, such a juicy move, of course, it's gonna play it immediately. And bishop c3. I think maybe just going queen e7, rook d8. Yeah, something like that. Because like bishop e4, I want to be able to take with a queen, defending the knight, and also like maybe just bishop f5, rook a d8, placing rooks like this. Maybe pushing h pawn is also typical in this structure. So symmetrical, but definitely slightly better for us. If not much better already. Probably much better, but not trying to exaggerate with things. Yeah, could do this. Push the h pawn. Queen will be placed on c2, I would assume. We'll see though. I'll just have to make this rook d8, h5 moves. Maybe even rook e8, and then we decide. We need first to like optimize our pieces and then try to actually think about like more of a direct plan, let's say, and not really try to see the whole thing from like the very beginning, because that's usually not a good strategy. It's up to my opponent to make some move now. Most of the times will actually be a mistake that you can take advantage of, which is like even nicer, because you don't have to overthink. And okay, I think we can take. Then he wants pawn takes. Maybe rook e1, some pressure there. I think easy as just rook d8. Although, maybe he wants bishop f6 and knight e5. But I don't think that's so amazing. So I could take pawn takes. Is he like getting real pressure on the pawn? I tend to say the answer is no, but I'm not sure. I think I'll just play rook d8. Feels like the right move. Staying more in control, like knight takes taking with the rook. So I think his only chance is try to take and play knight d5, but I can at least give back the exchange, followed by picking up the a1 rook, and then to me it looks like pawn on d5 is weak, but I'm not sure. Also, we can try to play around the d5 knight. It's not like best knight ever. Against f3, trying to undermine the center, just gonna be taking on f4. And idea would be to advance with e3, or yeah, I think we just go for that. If I need to take the knight, so it kind of has to pin me either with this or with queen e1. But I have, I guess we'll have a win anyways. Just not sure how. Probably just rook e8, defending my queen. Yeah, so rook e1. I wanted to just perhaps play even rook d3, taking the bishop and preparing this move. This is just a completely winning position at this point, I think. Okay, so we see rook to c1. Yeah, just gonna double up. Could actually even easier just sidestep this file, and I'm gonna do it with queen d8. There's no way to stop this move, and just gonna be winning the free knight because of the pin. So I think we're getting like an easily winning position. Just taking, like also forking the rooks, which is even nicer. Gonna be taking one of the rooks and promoting next. Or bishop d2, rook d2, but actually trapping his queen, which is like pretty fun motive. Yeah, queen is literally trapped. Watch this. This is so funny, like the queen getting trapped in the middle of the board on the initial square. Like you don't see that every day. I think that's like a pretty funny picture. Yeah. Collecting the queen, and the rest should be pretty simple. Taking a bunch of pawns. Yeah, knight h5, idea to bring the knight over. Thinking about giving a check potentially. Rook takes, pawn takes. King h1, we have knight checkmate, which is like pretty funny. And we managed to get this one in. Thanks a lot for making it this far into the video. And in case you're looking for more episodes from the same series, make sure to click one of the videos that will appear on the screen. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you around on the channel. Take care.